Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast, a production from Empowering Pumps and Equipment as the voice of the pump and related equipment industry. Episode 50 of the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charli Matthews, and I'm joined by my co-host, Bethany Womack.
Charli, big day, episode 50. I know I talked a big game last time about celebrating hard for episode 50, but then this morning came and I had not made any balloons as promised. So we decided, you and I, we're going to push and celebrate at episode 52 when we're celebrating a year of the podcast, which is happening in 2 weeks.
I'm so excited.
I'm putting you on notice. Find a hat, do something. I don't know. I'm going to remember this time and we're going to do it. Also, we're moving into Q2 of 2021, which seems impossible. I'm going to be that trope that's always like, how is it already April? But it is.
I can't believe it is. It really, this year did fly. Thankfully, it flew.
Yes. Yeah. And continues to fly on. So we are happy that all of you listeners have joined in with us today, whether you're listening in podcast form on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube, which we're now on YouTube. Thanks for picking us and choosing us every Monday. Subscribe and rate and review so that we can have other listeners find the show as well. Just like every week, we're going to talk about something in social media. We're going to preview the news from Empowering Pumps and Equipment, and then we're going to connect you with an industry influencer. Charli, how was your week this week?
I had a great week. First of all, Carter went out of town, so I felt like there was one less person I had to take care of in the house. But it was just kind of real.
And you get a big bed all to yourself, like sleep sideways if you want.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. But he was only gone for a couple of days. So, after that, it gets to like, hey, come back. I need you. The other thing that was really cool that I did is I posted a poll question on LinkedIn and asked people if they listened to the podcast. So I got to know who you are now. Several people said, yes, they're a big fan, or they sometimes listen to it, which I really enjoyed. And then I also really liked the question, or the, I guess, choice that you could choose, which is what's a podcast? And you can see who said that.
Which I thought you were very brave for including that, but or that was a better option than just say, no, I don't like your podcast. So good. No one can select.
Well, what I did was I looked to see who did that. And then I sent them the link, because it's easy on Empowering Pumps to just watch it right there on the page. So I was like, I'm introducing you to podcasts. Here you go. And so anyway, that was a lot of fun. Just getting to know our podcast listeners. We've been wondering who you are. So yeah, that was awesome. What about you, Bethany? How was your week?
Yeah. It is finally feeling like spring and summer here in Texas. We started swim lessons again with my kid. We're playing outside more. And I've never really thought that I was one of those people that was like, oh, winter makes me feel down, but something this year, maybe it's, just the year in culmination, but now being able to, get outside and play has just been refreshing this week.
And they're so cute. Your kids are so cute, and y'all are just having so much fun. So I know it's fun being with them.
I'm trying to soak in the memories and the fun stuff. And the baby's now getting to where he'll smile at you and kind of laugh. And so Big Brother's playing with him a little more. And so it's really fun. And a fun update that I saw this week. As a proud Texas A&M University graduate, I saw this update and I thought it was relevant and wanted to share it on the podcast. Texas A&M just named a new president of the university, and it's Dr. Catherine Banks. She is the former dean of the College of Engineering School, and so she was the dean when I was working for Texas A&M University in the engineering department. And so for one, I'm like, ooh, I know someone famous who's now going to be the president. And it's always really fun to see an engineer take on at the top role at a university, and also a female. And I just thought it was a really fun update.
Yes. And she's a diehard Aggie fan. So that was also part of it. But yeah, excellent share. Love to hear it for sure. These women at the top, changing things around for us, which is awesome.
Yes. Okay. Now let's get right into Let's Get Social.
Awesome.
Work today. Okay, so let's get social. This is where we're going to tell you something fun that's been going on or that we saw on social media and something you need to be aware of.
Yes, but first, I always want to introduce you to, or invite you to our meetups. Our Empowering Brands Meetup is going to be April 14th. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Our Empowering Women's Meetup is going to be April 14th. That's every second Wednesday at 11 Central Time. And then our Empowering Brands Meetup is April 20th. That's every third Tuesday at 3 Central Time.
You need to pre-register for those. So we'll have the link in the show notes where you can find that, pre-register for it, and then you'll be sent the Zoom link and be there, be ready to turn your camera on and have a really good time having lunch with us or having happy hour with us.
It's a social thing. It really is. It's let's get social. Like that's the best thing we can do is like get together, right?
Yes. Which this week in Let's Get Social, we're going to talk all about getting together and a form of social that happened on Twitter. We're going to talk about Manufacturing Hour on Twitter.
This is so much fun. I blocked off the hour and just hung out there. It was just really energizing. The weekly Twitter chat that happens every Thursday at 1 p.m. So it's this Manufacturing Hour. And, it's for anybody. It's for anybody who champions U.S. manufacturing, which we do, of course. And you can share positive blogs or articles, news. I mean, we had a lot of different things, which we'll get into, but, different people that just wanted to say hey and support each other. So a lot of different things that you can get on there and share. But it's really organized from a few people in the industry, and then they find a host. And so this week, we were the host, Empowering Pumps and Equipment. And it was just so much fun. The host picks the theme, and then we post questions and answers, and we really facilitate that discussion around there. And we just get to comment. So I didn't facilitate. I just kind of participated this week, which was just fun, get to know new people in the industry. I just had a lot of fun. So
I think it's such a cool idea to then have a new host every week so you can talk about, whatever topics they want to talk about, which Rebecca went and got this opportunity for Empowering Pumps. And so she hosted for Empowering Pumps. And so the theme that we picked was connecting in the industry because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had 5 key questions that we posed to the manufacturing community, but I really wanted to focus on one of those questions and look at the answers. And Charli kind of explained how it works, but you include this hashtag USAMFG hour. And
that's for manufacturing
on your tweets.
Hour.
And so yes. And then I had to think about it because I'm not looking at them. So I'm like, don't mess these letters up in my head. But so you include that hashtag with your tweet. And so you can click on the hashtag. You all know how hashtags works. You've been hanging out with us for a year. We believe in you. But click on the hashtag and you can see, the conversation that people are having. So we had these questions. We sent them out using the hashtag, and then we got answers during that power hour. And one of the key questions I wanted to kind of read through some of the answers on was, how can we make our community stronger by connecting online? And they really came up. I saw 4 big themes come up in the answers. And so I thought this was such a cool question, and I loved the insight and wanted to share it with the listeners.
Yeah, it really was a really fun opportunity to share what we're passionate about. And I think, this question does highlight that. So the first one about conversation, right? And this quote is, "Understand that all social media is a conversation," said Dave Meyer of BizWeb. "It's not a place for spam. It's where you engage your audience with thoughtful, helpful information. Knowing your audience and their interests goes a long way. Help, 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 not sell, sell, sell," which I think is excellent because we've talked about this so many times. You just have to be a helpful person and really try to help people solve their problems or try to connect people. Social media is about having a conversation so you get to know people and help them. So anyway, I just love that. If you're spamming people with your sales pitch, they're not going to follow you and hang around for very long. So
yeah, and that's for you marketers out there. you have to be on social media to have these conversations and not just coming on when you're selling, like, yes, that's our agenda. We're going to share our products, but we have to be helping people too and having these conversations. And I really liked that insight.
Yeah. And
I
like too, you made me think about this, Bethany. Like, I like that the companies were on sharing and having a conversation like they're a person, right? Because we know there's a person behind that brand who's posting.
Yes.
So we're like, okay, they're not a robot. They're a human, let's treat them that way. So anyway, I just enjoyed seeing that for sure.
Yeah. And Dave was talking about help, not sell, which relates to the next theme, which was helping. And this tweet comes from Sam Gupta from Elevate IQ. He said, the best way to make the community stronger is by helping as many people as you can. Help with jobs, leads, connections, intros. It will come back. And I really like this idea that the effort that you put in will come back around for you somehow, some way, especially in social media and connecting with people. I love that.
Yeah, I really like Sam too. I reached out to him after and asked him whether we could set up a call just to get to know him better. So you'll probably be seeing something more from him. Okay, so
see, people, there you go. Participate in social media in these things that we're in, and then Charli will contact you to connect, or someone.
Especially today, right? Like,
to
this is how we get to know people. Yes. And so that leads me to the next one, consistency, right? So being consistent with your community. I love what John said from Otessa. I try to attend the same Twitter chats, clubhouse sessions, spaces, etc. I always share what I'm doing to raise awareness, even if no one else joins in. He's saying, hey, I'm going to this Twitter chat. I'm going to this. I'm going to be there. And it made me think of our meetups and the people that have been with us from the beginning, whether they maybe miss some or not, you're like, those are my people. And it builds that loyalty and connection, like nothing else.
Agree. And the last one was being inclusive. So Radwell, a company who is participating in this thing. So like you said, Charli, it was a company and we didn't see the person's name, but we know a person was there behind their Twitter, said, whatever the platform, be inclusive. So many groups aren't. And it was such a refreshing change to meet folks in this group because everyone was included and welcome. And that's massive when it comes to connecting online.
Well, I'll tell you that Julie with Radwell, she did. Okay. What she did was comment and then she signed it, Julie. So she was bragging on our podcast and everything, which was awesome. But yeah, you can do that, right? You can post from the company and be like, hey, this is, and Rebecca was doing that from Empowering Pumps. She's like, Rebecca here as Empowering Pumps. So yeah. I think that inclusiveness really got Becca too, because I remember seeing her retweet that post. So, we're all about inclusive.
What Becca likes.
Yes. So yeah, it was an awesome time. And I hope that you'll read more about it. We've got a blog about it. And then Graphic Products posts a recap of the conversation every week. Or this week. I don't know if they do it every week, but they have recaps every week. And then, go out there, check out the hashtag that USA manufacturers hashtag. I forgot it, but we'll put it there.
It's hard. It's a tricky one. Yeah. It's USA MFG hour. So USA Manufacturing Hour.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. And so your calls to action from this segment of the podcast. So what you're going to do as you're listening to the rest of the podcast, or when you get off, you're going to get on Twitter, you're going to search for that hashtag, look for the questions, and you're just going to answer some of the questions or connect with the people and use that hashtag so that people see it. And then set your calendar for next Thursday, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. And, this might be what you're consistent in, what you're inclusive in, how you're helping people, just how you show up. And this is how you connect with people.
And a big part of our audience, Bethany, is manufacturing. And this is that community. It's a manufacturing community that gets together every Thursday. How cool is that? Yeah.
I love it. And so we have mentioned a few people throughout this conversation. The whole segment is really shout outs to people that were communicating and participating in this Twitter hour. But Charli, I think you had a few specific shout outs you wanted to share that came from.
That's right. So Rebecca Hart, she's been mentioned on here before for giving us a great shout out. She's with DSI Dynamatic, and she was engaged in really where I saw the U.S. Manufacturing Hour first was that she was involved with it and sharing it. And then we mentioned Julie with Redwell International. She is on Instagram as a follower of ours, and always, giving us some mentions about the podcast as well. And then I also wanted to just shift gears a little bit with this shout out. Brown and Caldwell did such an excellent job of promoting the podcast that I just thought, it's the top, downloaded podcast for us in such a short time. And I know it's because they shared it and made different graphics and really just promoted it from their side. So I just really wanted to thank them for, getting that message out, because it was such a great podcast and really special to me.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back. It's a couple episodes back. Their CEO talks about, really what they're doing at his company to make it more inclusive for people that are working there, and how they're really thinking responsibly for the water industry and trying to be a leader there, and are a leader there. And I immediately, when I edited the podcast, I said, Charli, this one's a good one. We're going to share it. They need to share it to everyone to listen to. And thank you to that company, seriously, Brown and Caldwell, for sharing it. That's how we get our show out. And that's why we want you to give us shout out so we can give them back to you and get more people to know you. So if you want to get a shout out on the show, just connect with us and send it out a tweet at Empowering Pumps and using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media platform you're on, LinkedIn too. We love to hear your feedback, and we want to share you with the community as well.
Yeah. And like she said, mention us and we'll mention you. And that's how it works. That's how this social media fame happens, right?
Help.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Now we're going to move into the news.
Is dancing allowed?
Yes, always. Plug for the YouTube. Go watch so you can see Charli dance. Into the news. This is where we're going to preview news coming out on the Empowering Pumps and Equipment newsletter. And we're also this week are going to preview a little something else coming out from Empowering Pumps and Equipment. But first, we're going to start with the person of the week is Miss Arnita King. She works in the ring department at SEPCO, doing graphite seals, cutting gaskets, and working with high volume rings. She just had her 35-year service award there. And in her profile, she said she started working as a housekeeper for SEPCO's CEO, Jeff Wilder, 40 years ago, and then transitioned to a job for the company. And she talks about how it was really just the best decision of her life. She was nominated by friend of the podcast, friend of you and I, Lori DeToro. And she's a really awesome person. I told Charli that I almost cried reading her profile.
Yeah, so I'll help y'all kind of get there with us.
Thank you.
What we asked, what is it that you love about your job? And she says, I'm proud that I take a raw material and create a final useful product that will help somebody down the road. My favorite work is producing the graphite seals. And then she talks about...
Can we just stop there for a second? And how awesome is that? Like, to have a job and to enjoy your job and just have pride that what you're making is helping people. I think that's really the goal of, like my career, work in general. Yes. And so that just in itself, I thought was awesome. But
she's almost crying right now, y'all.
Yeah.
So, it is. That's what it's about. And she is. And we know that, from all the work that we've been doing with the fluid sealing industry, that these seals are so important to our equipment and making everything run correctly. So the other thing I wanted to share is just her passion for her work. And really, this is the commitment that she talks about with coming back. She suffered a brain aneurysm in 2011 and spent 29 days in the hospital. Her plant manager was very concerned about her, of course, which I just think, thank you, plant manager, for letting her know that you cared about her. And she says she wasn't sure if she would be able to come back to work because of her health. But her goal the whole time was to get back to the work that she loved. She says, this company helped take care of me while I was out. It is a miracle that I was able to come back, according to the doctors. And I had God on my side. And so I just think that she knew that those people cared about her. And that is why you do good work. You're at a company that cares for you. And even going through something hard, they're there with you the whole way. And so I'm with you, Bethany. I got all the feels, and we're just really...
I've got a sound effect for this.
I have chills. I have chills.
Right?
I have chills. I have chills. It's true. It's true. So, it's a great read, and I hope that, you'll be able to connect with her. Maybe you're visiting the SEPCO plant and you can stop by and say hey to her, give her a shout out in person one of these days soon.
Yeah. And that's the point of why we do Person of the Week, is we want to highlight people that are doing really awesome things in their career, have made an impact on your life or in the industry. So, nominate someone as well that you think is awesome, and definitely go read her article if you need a feel good for the day and some inspiration to do your hardest at work. Which I want to move and talk about. The magazine came out for Empowering Pumps and Equipment. It comes out today.
That's
right,
right,
Charli,
that's
if you're listening to this on
Mhm.
Monday. Yep. Charli, it's the place where all of what we do at Empowering Pumps is kind of like highlighted and showcased together. All of our news and what we like to do and all the knowledge we share. It's all in one big project. It's your baby, the premier project for Empowering Pumps and Equipment right now.
It really is.
We're proud of you. We're so excited that it's out, and I want you to tell people what they
Well,
can.
It's a creative project to be real. It's so fun to incorporate everything, right? And so that's the challenge each time we send one of these out is, okay, who are we going to put in it? How are we going to make it better than the last one? But the kind of the outline of the magazine is we have a cover story. This month's cover story is Flowserve's RedRaven. They, talk about their end-to-end IoT solutions that, produce scalable results for industrial plants and beyond. I mean, I love talking about this, and you'll hear about it later. But anytime that the cover story can line up with kind of our passions, it's just, one of those great books. So check that out. We also do kind of just to highlight something that's of interest of us, definitely empowering women in industry. So this article examining the manufacturer's talent crisis was very touching to me because I said it so many times, right? We need women in the workforce. And so this article goes into that. And then we have our section, the knowledge shared section. And this incorporates the meat, right? The what do you call it? The technical papers and knowledge. And so this time Elena wrote for us the theory bites, and I included as many as I could in there because I thought they were so good. Yeah. And, that's a lot of fun to highlight, first of all, Elena and all of her work, which we love to do, but then on that technical side as an engineer. And then you cannot get through the book without seeing our Pump Talk celebrity, which Elena was our very first one back at, when we started the magazine. But that allows me to highlight somebody in the industry. And it's really somebody that just touches me, right, along the way. It's like willing to put their picture out there, for one, because we always like the pictures and like showing the equipment and how the work in the field looks. But then, being willing to, give advice for somebody, the next generation or so anyway, plenty of great stuff there. I love being able to create it. I get to use my, creative side of the of my brain, I guess, and pulling all that together and how does it look? But I couldn't do any of that without you, Bethany, and the team of you help put together you really do. You help put together the graphics and making everything look good, whether it's, my very first page where I'm doing my letter and it's my headshot, you created that too, putting together our podcast promotions. And it really makes it stand out as a digital form of content where people can just look at it on their computer or their phone easily. So you'll make it look great, and y'all help out with finding the industry influencers and different things like that. So yeah, thanks for everything.
Well, you're very kind in saying that. I really I like looking through it, and I'm very plugged into Empowering Pumps. I know what's going on because I work here, but I always it always gives me new ideas for something, so I'm reading through it and I read something new about the industry and I'm like, oh, I need to connect with what it did for me this time is I need to connect with this former professor that I knew at Texas A&M that I think would be great to talk about this, something in Theory Bites triggered that memory of him. And so, everyone get it and take a look at it, pull it up on your computer. You're kind of, you're taking a little break from work. Your boss walks in and you're like, hey, I'm still working. I'm reading Empowering Pumps and Equipment so I can learn about these theory
That's
bikes.
right.
You talked about it a lot, but was there any like favorite thing in the magazine that you are really proud of that you're excited to share?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to that creation process too, where I first had the idea. I went through like InStyle magazine and was looking at it, which is kind of just completely different. But I went through a lot of different magazines, but this particular one, it showcased all these people. And so we do that. We showcase the industry influencers with their picture and kind of a little bit about them. And I really enjoy that because it's my way of giving back to them. Also, the day in the life. It's like a snapshot, really, of one person who is willing to tell us about it again and provide these pictures, but just being able to go into their life with them, and I think that's really what I like to do and learn from them. So this month, Shadrach Stevens, who has Re-Engineer. He was on one of the panels that I was on with the maintenance community, the career fair that we did. And I just fell in love with him. We're like instantly connected. And so we talk to each other a lot now. And I'm just happy to showcase what he's doing for the world of STEM. It's amazing. So yeah, check it out.
That's awesome. You can get the link to view the magazine in our show notes. You'll be seeing promotions coming out from all of our social channels for how you can get the magazine. It's new today if you're listening to this on April 5th, Monday, when the show comes out. And we, challenge you to share it with all of your colleagues and tag us on social media as you share it.
Look, practice your skills you've learned here.
Yes. Okay. So now on to the newsletter. What story did you want to preview for us today?
Yes. So staying on a theme with Flowserve, and they have a really great article, benefits of design to value. And I just, I love anything of value. So I thought, okay, let me check this one out. It says pump design has a significant impact on the overall value, from features to configurations to cost, materials, and operating parameters. Makes sense, right? Pump manufacturers can increase customer value while also cutting costs and speeding up time to market, which we all will appreciate. Design to value process gives companies the opportunity to trigger innovation in existing product portfolios, and some pump manufacturers are adopting enhanced product development based on this design to value principles. So I don't know all of this. There's a white paper on it, and I hope that you will go check it out and learn about these principles with me, because I think it's got to be awesome.
That's cool. Okay, my story that I wanted to share is a webinar from Everactive, who's a new partner, right? Okay. New partner.
They work with us on webinars all the time. So yeah, they're definitely a partner of ours.
Yeah. So the webinar is Achieve Your Reliability and Uptime Goals with Batteryless Sensors. So the whole webinar is, what's the problems when you have batteries when it comes to IoT solutions? And so they undermine the value of IoT by creating perpetual maintenance. And I actually wrote these numbers down because the numbers were mind-boggling. If you have 1 trillion sensors with 10-year batteries, that equals 274 million replacements per day.
Wow. That's not getting done.
No. So in the webinar, Peter Woodman from Everactive shows us how using batteryless sensors can monitor your equipment for you and eliminate routine inspection routes. He also shows a demo of how it all works on your equipment and, end-to-end solutions with no batteries required. So you'll want to check out that webinar.
Yeah. I want to know why. What do you do if there's no batteries? How does it work? So I'll check it out.
Yeah. Awesome. So, that's the news. Check out the newsletter that you get in your inbox. There's also a link to sign up for the newsletter if you don't have that, so you can get all of the top news stories in the industry delivered to your inbox a couple of times a week, so you can stay in the know. And speaking of in the know, we brought on a really awesome person for the industry interview, Charli. I think he's our first repeat guest.
That's right. Francisco Gasparri.
Why don't you introduce him?
Yeah. So again, Flowserve. He's the global product manager for IIoT. And so that's Internet of Things, Industrial Internet of Things. So Francisco has 15 years of managerial experience at Flowserve. his current role, he's responsible for implementing Flowserve's IoT solutions for pumps, seals, and valves. And that's really important. So, when this came out, RedRaven, and you'll hear a lot about that if you read the cover story, RedRaven. And in this interview, it's dealing with the pumps, but because he has the expertise in seals and valves, then you're going to see that expand. And so I'm really excited about that. And, he's helping to, take these plants and move it, towards this digitalization and maintenance centered or reliability centered maintenance and optimization. And when you talk to him, it's what he's about. Like, you can tell that he believes in it. He loves the work that he does. And so I really think you're going to enjoy the interview.
Awesome. Without further delay, here's your interview.
Hey, Francisco. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Yes. Well, me and Bethany just gave you a great intro, but I want to start. Well, I always like to start with you telling everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Francesco Gasparri. I'm based in Italy, and I am the IoT Global Commercial Manager for Flowserve.
Yes, but it has a little extra on the end of this. I noticed it also includes marketing and technology, which I think is really what we need, right? We need all of those to come together. And we really see that in what you just launched, the RedRaven. So let's talk a little bit about that. Talk about marketing, I guess, with why RedRaven.
Yeah, we have worked on it over the last 2 years. And really, Flowserve wanted to launch our new IoT services, so Internet of Things services, and we wanted to give it a very unique and recognizable name. And that's why RedRaven came on the stage. And we are very happy and very proud of this choice. And so why Raven, first of all? And, the raven, even in mythology, is a bird that has some prophetic features and could bring news and information. Maybe good news, maybe bad news. But obviously, if you know something bad in advance, you can transform into a positive information. So first of all, we want to consider the fact that we want to bring information to our customers with our IoT platform. And then we want to add on top of it our experience. Flowserve has 200 years of experience in pumps, seals, and valves. And that piece is added to the picture. And again, the raven is considered a very clever and wisdom bird. And last but not least, the raven is a guardian. So we want to help our customers to protect their equipment. That's why Raven came as the name, and then red to make it unique and to connect it to the color of our Flowserve brand, our logo.
Yeah. I love that. I love the red. And, that's my Charli brand is red too. So I always love seeing any type of red marketing. But, I see the raven in all of these different shows that I've been watching as, they send the raven out and it goes and sends the very important message. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, like you said. And, looking at where we're going in the future with this and having this information and really trying to educate people on IoT services in general. It's going to take that. It's going to take a very clever and wise bird for sure. What do you see when you think about IoT, and you've been studying this for a while, not specifically just with Flowserve, but I'd look back maybe 10 years and we didn't talk about IoT. What do you see as far as IoT services, and what is the benefit for having this in our industry?
Well, first of all, it's very important to consider these as services. So IoT is really a full solution that include some equipment that you need to put in the field to gather the data, but that's just the starting point. Then you need to transfer all this information to to the internet, to the cloud platform, and then you need to analyze that. So if today the problem is that you don't have enough data, in a couple of years you will be flooded of data. And that's why it's important to consider this as a service. You need somebody, or you need some predictive analytics algorithms to analyze this amount of data, because a data is just a number. You need to transform a data into an actionable information to then protect your equipment. So avoid a failure, avoid an unexpected downtime in a plant, avoid a safety situation for your employees. So these are all benefits that you can gather from IoT, as well as producing better, producing with less cost. And in today's situation, the other big advantage is that you can keep an eye on your plant, on your assets from home, as we are all today.
Yes. And I wanted to just point out something that you said about the algorithm. I read this too, engineered algorithms. And I think this is really important to highlight because, you talked a little bit about, you're going to have all of this data and what do we do with it? And it seems overwhelming. I mean, even in just collecting our social media data that we have, it can be. And you're talking about an engineered solution here. What is that? What I guess is an engineered algorithm?
Yeah, good question. Again, it's we can use engineered algorithms for our predictive analytics solution because Flowserve has 200 years of experience on pumps, seals, and valves. So we know really how they work. So we have transferred this knowledge into these algorithms. It means that we analyze the data coming from the plant, and we have created models and algorithms based on the physics of the pumps, seals, or valves, and the engineering characteristics of this machine. So we can immediately detect a potential issue looking at how these parameters are generated by the pump and analyzing them with our algorithms.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, there are other solutions. So you have probably heard about machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is also used for social media analysis, by the way, and marketing analysis. And these kind of tools, these kind of tools are based on a statistical approach. So you really analyze a huge amount of data without necessarily knowing from where these data are generated. But with this statistical approach, you can see if the behavior has changed, and then you can consider this a failure or a problem. But the big difference is that you need a huge amount of data to run machine learning analytics, and you also need to train the system. So you need to show to the software what behavior they will see in case of a failure. So you need to train the system, and you need to provide a very good set of data that contains some past failures. Otherwise, the machine learning technology cannot learn how to do it. Our system is based on our knowledge and our engineering analytics. So we can detect an issue the first time it happens. We don't need to train the system for a long time.
Yeah, I did read that as soon as you kind of plug in, it's already collecting that data and analyzing it, which is excellent. And, having that team of engineers and years of experience there, that is what you have to look at any data, right? But this is specific to the pump industry. Y'all have engineered solutions, what'd you say, 200 years you've been looking at this information. So super, super helpful. And the RedRaven has already been used in a small power plant in the UK. Tell me a little bit about that. I think it's, this quickly, you've got a launch and you have a success story. I think that's great.
Yeah, well, it was even just before the launch, but we before Christmas we went to this power plant in England with a small demo kit of our new LoRaWAN wireless system for condition monitoring. So my colleague installed the system in less than 20 minutes. So one gateway and 5 sensors placed on the pumps, and we immediately got the signal. And just to give you an idea of the strength of our solution, the gateway was installed in a control room with no windows, in a concrete reinforced room with a steel door. So no visibility to the sensors, not direct access, and still the wireless signal was able to go through the walls and reach the gateway. But anyway, we have installed it, and a couple of days later, we have seen a big increase in the vibration level of the pump. So we contacted the customer, and they realized that they were using the boiler in a wrong way. So the water going to the pump was at a temperature much higher than expected, and this was causing high vibrations on the pump. So we were able to inform the customer just in time.
Yeah.
And they could stop this pump, and they started a sister pump that was working better, and they worked. They used the pumps during the Christmas time without any problem. And even more important, they called Flowserve specialists to inspect the pump, and we didn't find any permanent damage on the pump. So the system worked exactly as expected, and the customer avoided a big downtime during the Christmas time, which is always
excellent.
a bad time to have a problem.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's just excellent. I think what you pointed out about the wireless going through the walls is, I mean, we've all dealt with that, I think, at some point in our homes or in somewhere where we're like, we can't get the signal. So I think it's really important to know that you have looked at that and it is working. The other thing I wanted to point out was that these sensors can be used in refineries, chemical plants, these highly kind of explosive areas, which I think was a great benefit just to the technology. And I guess maybe that's from, again, your knowledge of working in those areas.
Yes, exactly. And so our NodeR is the extended range version of our wireless sensor, and it is certified for Class 1 Division 1 or ATEX Zone 0, which is the highest rating highest rating for a refinery environment. So it can be installed really everywhere in a plant. And so this gives much higher flexibility to our customers on how to use it.
Yes, absolutely. And then, I'm sure you're going to get this question a lot, but what's the future here? What does it look like?
Well, first of all, in the short term, we have now launched RedRaven for pumps, but we are working hard to add the IoT capabilities and analytics for mechanical seals and valves. So this is going to happen by the end of this year. So our suite of products and services will cover the 3 core businesses of Flowserve. And this will be even more important for our customers.
Absolutely.
And then later on, I think there will be a continuous expansion of the predictive analytics capabilities for the system. And as I said, we will need to find a way to analyze and treat every day a higher amount of data. So this is going to happen soon.
Yeah, and part of it is that adoption from different companies, understanding how this works, that it's secure. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect, with your system and using it to take care and protect their data.
Yeah, it is first of all an end-to-end solution. We provide all the different steps required for a secure and reliable IoT system. So from sensors that will send the signal encrypted to the gateways in the field, and then from the gateways to our cloud platform. All this transmission is encrypted and protected according to the best standards for cybersecurity. And also we have signed important agreements with partners. So all the infrastructure is a privately owned infrastructure by Flowserve. So we don't use any public network in the process, really to protect the data and knowing how much this is important for our customers. And so this is really unique in our solution. We're probably the only one that can provide such a end-to-end solutions. There are many suppliers, many companies can supply sensors. Other companies are specialized in creating the online visualization page. Other companies specialize in analyzing the data. Flowserve can do everything from A to Z.
I love it. I love it. And I think that, it's so important to have people who understand a pumping system to be, helping you get the data, where the sensors are placed, et cetera. Right. So I wanted to just, swap gears just a little bit and ask you, when you started at Flowserve, did you ever imagine working on, an IoT service?
Probably not. To be honest, probably not. It is very exciting for me to do it. I still have to learn a lot, especially on the IT side. When I speak with the R&D engineers and they start talking me about all the acronyms and the softwares and the characteristics of a cloud environment, it is still something really new to me. But it is very, very interesting, and it's interesting to see how much attention there is on this topic. I think it will grow. It will grow.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is. It's always going to be changing, and I think that's the thing that we need to get comfortable with is, like you said, having somebody that can provide this service that's looking into it. I know we're kind of constantly looking at, what's the best technology for just everyday lives from, we're doing that with our handheld cell phones to, what do we have in our homes? So how do we get this implemented and accepted in the workplace? Is just the next step of that. And I do believe it's constant learning and making sure that we have a great team around us that we can trust and build from. So, with that, and, I want to thank Flowserve for being a partner of ours at Empowering Pumps and Equipment, because we get to share in this, amazing launch with you. And you're right. People are highly active in asking questions or participating online with different discussions because we all are interested in learning about these systems. Is there anything else, I guess, as far as we've been talking that you wanted to make sure that our audience knows about it?
Well, we are really here to help our customers in defining the best solution for their needs and really helping them in better produce, in better manage their assets. This is our final target. And obviously, Flowserve is not only RedRaven, it's not only IoT. Again, working with us means that you have access to our expertise, you have access to our field service team, to our repair centers. So it's really a complete solution that we can provide to our customers and really help them working better and producing more.
I love it. These engineers combined with this amazing customer service who's taking care of you end to end. I love it. Well, Francesco, thank you so much for jumping on here again with me. It was a pleasure to see you on video this time, get to know you. And we will we'll be having the cover story that was written by Flowserve on the RedRaven going out in April as well. So make sure that you take a look to that, at that. We will include all of that in the show notes, of course, with links. But until next time, when I get to talk to you, thanks for being here.
Thank you too, and have a nice day.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of our show. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Do us a favor, subscribe, rate and review the podcast on iTunes, wherever you're listening to us or watching us. we really appreciate those and read all of them.
Yes, and give us a shout out at Empowering Pumps or using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast. And guess what? I got an email this week. So thanks to our Twitter chat at podcast@empoweringpumps.com.
Love it. We'll be back every Monday with a new episode.
So until then, be empowering.